Okay, y'all, you are in for a treat tonight because we have what I like to call the first lady of Q. You guys, Sarah Spencer is Jake Spencer's wife. You guys all know Jake is the president, co-owner of the company. And his beautiful wife, Sarah, is the head of the financial freedom movement here. And I have found that our financial freedom movement, I feel like it's so, at least for my team, I don't think I've talked about it enough, but I think it's so underutilized. I don't know about you guys. If you know me at all, you know how open and transparent I am about my life and finances and just everything. I'm very bold. So when I started and, Fran told me, you have access to free financial coaching. I'm like, that's awesome. It sounds great. Except if your finances are a mess, you might not want to talk to somebody about it. And so when I had my first meeting with Sarah, I was nervous. I was like, oh my gosh, what is she going to think of me? I have all of this credit card debt. I don't know. I'm not going to lie. I was very nervous. And after that call, I want you guys to know that I left feeling so encouraged, so excited, because she gave me a plan of how I was actually going to be able to get out of debt so much faster than I thought. Like it was actually really good news. And so she's going to talk about a lot of things, but if you have not emailed the financial freedom movement yet to set up a meeting, that is your first job when you get off of this call. Write this down. You're going to email ffm@qsciences.com and you're going to ask for a meeting. And this is available to all of you. The second you join our company, it's available. And so, when I was at Silver Summit a couple of weeks ago or whatever it was, Sarah couldn't come. She was not feeling great. So I missed out getting to spend time in person with her, but she did Zoom in and give us amazing training. And you guys, she's just brilliant. She is so smart when it comes to finances. And I'm so grateful that you are taking time to pour into us. So you guys, this is Sarah.
Well, awesome. How are you guys? You guys good?
So good.
You're burning the midnight oil? Yeah, getting there. Wow. Thank you, Brittany, for allowing me to be on your call or this Zoom today. And holy cow, there's a lot of people on here. I mean, you could scroll for like an hour just to see all these faces. So I was kind of doing that earlier. I wish I could see you all at the same time, but thank you for giving me the privilege. I know that a lot of us, we haven't met yet, and hopefully in time we can all meet. You guys have an amazing team. And it's fun to be able to work with Brittany. I've been able to get to know her and her husband a little bit. And yes, I did miss you at the cabin, but the good news is I'm doing better. You guys, COVID's not fun. Let's just say that. But Brittany and her husband have obviously done some very incredible things. Like, holy cow, you've only been in the business for a few months and Emerald, what's that all about, right? You guys are crushing it. Phenomenal job. So really the goal, I think, tonight is how can I help you guys take your businesses all to the next level, right? I think that's what we want. Any little extra tidbit here and there that we can weave into our language, weave into our presentation, our launch, our recruiting, whatever it is. I think that FFM is one of those things that when you really figure out how to promote it, it will increase your business. It will take it to the next level. So are you guys ready for some hints? I gave a very similar training. I think it was just last week. I'll go over kind of the same things that I went over there, but I've obviously had some other thoughts pop into my head. So we'll go over that too. So FFM, you guys, I believe that you have like really about 3 or 4 pillars in the company of Q. Right? The very first pillar is obviously that we have the most amazing, I think, company and owners. Okay. You've got a really cool CEO and president, Mr. Mark Wilson and Mr. Jake Spencer. Yes, I'm biased because I'm married to the guy, but you have an amazing company that stands on really, really good values. Okay. They came together. And when we were looking for companies to join and represent, one of the things that we were looking for is we wanted somebody that thought like us, that had the same value system as us, that wanted to truly change lives and be an impact. And that was Mr. Mark Wilson. So you have that as a really good foundation. I feel like it's an honor to be a part of Q, where we are right now, the company, the vision, everything that's going on. You guys, you have to be really, really proud. Okay. The other pillar that we have that's super strong in our company is obviously our comp plan. Okay. If you've been in network marketing before, you appreciate how simple the comp plan is. And if you've never been in network marketing before, you appreciate how simple it is. And then it's also very lucrative, right? So we love our comp plan. We're very, very proud of it. Okay. Obviously the other pillar is our products. They go without saying that once you test them, you can actually, and you try them out even for a couple days or a week, you notice a difference. And that alone is changing people's lives. Okay. But the fourth pillar that you have to start recognizing is the financial freedom movement that we've created. Okay. And how do you actually recruit with it? How does it play into everything? I'll tell you. Okay. So just like we have health and physical disease, right, that ails our bodies, the same thing can happen with financial disease, okay, and stress. And sometimes we don't realize because we've gotten almost so used to it and we've lived with it for so long that we've pushed it out and away, and we don't even realize anymore that the stress of financing, it's actually ruining our health, right? And so we understood that. And we also understood, after being in network marketing for years and years and years, we understood that, and we would see people come into network marketing, make a lot of money, and they would spend every dollar that they'd earn, and they'd actually get into a worse position than they were before they entered into network marketing. And that was so confusing to me. And I had been in, I had been running finances as a coach and dealing with people's finances since 2003. So I thought it was so weird that people would come into network marketing and make all this money and then they'd have nothing to prove for it. And it came down to just lack of education. Okay. So you have to understand why we created this first and why we threw it in there really as kind of the fourth pillar. Okay. We were tired, and Jake and we were tired of people making so much money and then having nothing to prove for it. I'll never forget the day when somebody in our very first business came to us, and he was a top leader, and he had just made $200,000 that prior year. And he just went and filed taxes, and he needed like $20,000+ to pay in taxes. And he didn't have it. He had spent it all. And it was like, well, didn't you prepare for this? Didn't you put money aside? And you couldn't get mad because he had just never been told what to do. And a lot of times, and what we kind of came on to think is, as we looked at our leaders and everything, why aren't they teaching us? Why are they not telling us what to do? And we honestly started feeling like, are they keeping us, almost stupid to finances? So we play into their games somehow. Like it was a really weird feeling. And another thing that we noticed is that, well, okay, some people may have financial education, but then they were doing this car bonus program where they were asking people to go get into debt and get a car payment just so they could send them another bonus. And that seemed weird too. So coming into Q, we wanted to change the whole money game. We knew, and after I had been in financial services for so long, okay, I knew that people needed to have a second or third stream of income to make their finances work, right? But they also needed to know how to manage it. So we created the FFM program, and at first it came out as just a bonus program, okay? And when we were brainstorming, it was like, let's make it a debt repayment program, right? But you guys, not everybody's in debt. So then what for them? And then we said, well, why don't we make it, the bonus to where it can go towards a debt or a savings plan of their choice. And that sounded cool too. But then we're like, you know what? If we just give people money to put in a regular savings account, they'll spend it, because there was no education and there was no teaching at that point. And so that's when we rolled this out, before we ever released the bonus. You guys that are new need to know this. We brought this out almost 3 years ago in April. So we'll hold our 3-year anniversary this April. When we originally brought this out, I did this beta test of the whole program, and it was solely, okay, based off of financial coaching. I coached people for about a 5-month stretch in time to kind of get a gauge of where people's finances were at, where their pain points were, things like that. And I gathered a lot of data, and then we rolled out the bonus program. But in those 5 months period of time, you know what's crazy? Without the bonus, I was getting people out of debt. I was helping people with their taxes. I was setting up savings plans for people for the first time in their life. I was teaching people about, how to work their taxes, how to create better write-offs, how to clear up their credit, how to do all that. So really, the bonus just became an afterthought, like, oh, that's cool. But the real foundation, and what I want you guys to understand with the FFM program, yes, the bonus is cool, but that's not really what we're doing here. The real thing that I want you guys to get with the FFM is that we're changing a culture. We're changing a mindset. Somebody today actually said that. She's like, I'm going to make sure that everybody signs up for FFM coaching because I want to make sure that my whole team's culture and mindset is shifted around money. And so that's what I hope that you guys get from this whole thing, is why it was created and really the most important parts of it. And I'm not going to talk about the bonus for the next 20 minutes because that's not the most important thing. Okay. So how do we use this now? The coaching, the mindset, the culture. We want to infuse you with a ton of education. We want you guys to basically come into Q. And if you never made any money in Q, I want you to leave in a better financial state. That was my goal and my vision of this movement. Kind of cool, right? Just like with our products, like think about it. Could somebody come into Q and only take our products and come out a healthier, stronger, better feeling person? 100%. Okay. So with FFM, it's the same thing. So the first thing that you guys have to do in order to be able to recruit and really experience this is you have to build a testimony of FFM for yourself. Just like we say, try out the products and in time build a testimony of all of them over time. You have to learn and understand and appreciate the program for yourself, right? And just like Brittany said, I love her vulnerability because I think this is true of 99.9% of people. It is scary. And the hardest part is going to be to reach out, request an appointment. And the first 5 minutes of that call, you may have jitters, right? And it's scary because it's like we've almost born like this scarlet letter, our whole life with our finances. And all of a sudden we get to like expose everything, right? And it's like a little bit scary to do that. But I can tell you, you're never in as bad as a position as you think you are. And really, all people really just need is a defined plan. So build a testimony, actually reach out to a coach and go through the whole process yourself. Now, building a testimony of the program, you guys, is not just a one and done thing. Okay. It's not like, oh, I can have a call with a coach one time and I'm good, right? Because you have to understand that there is a process of change that has to occur in our finances. If you are in debt right now, there is obviously a lot of emotional baggage tied to that debt that we have to go in and unravel and then teach and retrain to create new habits over time. That's not going to be done in one conversation. Okay. So I would hope that you guys can go through the process and keep us in your back pocket through your whole journey through Q. Now, here's another thing I'm going to tell you is that as you start your financial coaching with Q, I want you to view it as this is a forever thing and you're creating a forever plan. Too often, what I fear is that people reach out to coaches because it's cool to do, or I was told to do it, or I will be in the in crowd if I can brag that I went through the FFM program. You guys, I want you to go through this and make changes in your finances and become better with or without Q. And so when you leave Q, whatever we put in place, I would hope that those habits would stick with you for a lifetime. Okay, so go into it with a forever plan. And the really cool thing is, you guys, is that I still have clients that have left Q and we still talk and we still stay in touch. So I don't want you to be afraid and think, oh my gosh, because that coach is tied to Q, I can only talk to them when I'm in Q. No, I'd hope that we would create a forever relationship also. Okay. All right. So first of all, build a testimony. It's not just one appointment, create a forever plan. Okay. The next thing that I want you guys to understand and why you need to actually start talking to a coach right away is because it actually will increase your recruiting game. And here's how. It's kind of crazy. Sometimes the financial baggage that we carry creates so much of a block that we can't see 2 inches in front of our faces because we carry it. And what we also feel a lot of times is that if people knew my true finances, they would never join me, right? Or I can't recruit anybody until I'm making money or until I hit that big rank or until I buy something flashy to impress them. Do you want to know what actually impresses people? The aura and the confidence that you emit, right? What also impresses people is your language and your intelligence. And if you're able to jump into a conversation and be able to talk a little bit about money or things or current events or things like that. So it's amazing for me to watch people and their confidence soar after they start learning about finances. Like I was laughing today because most people, and it's not like I'm laughing like at you. It's just so common that we need to know that this is normal. Most people don't know the difference between like a term policy or like a universal or a whole life policy when it comes to life insurance. A lot of people don't know the difference between like a traditional IRA or a Roth. A lot of people don't look at their 401k statements. A lot of people don't know what type of a pension plan that they have. They don't know different types of, interest earnings and things like that. And so that's normal. And I want you to understand that. And so when you do finally talk to a coach and we tell you everything, you're like, oh my gosh, I feel so amazing. And I can jump into conversations. And all of a sudden you feel more power, you feel more confident, and you start recruiting people. Do you want to hear a crazy story? So this, I had a leader come to me and she'll admit this. I won't tell you the name, but she actually created an appointment with me. She came to the first one and she knew that she needed to start making changes in her lifestyle. She wasn't ready to give them up. So she'd set appointments and then she'd no-show me after no-show me. And by like the third or the fourth time, I was like, I'm kind of done, right? One day she'll come back around. And so all of a sudden it dawned on her that, you know what, maybe what they were saying in FFM was maybe true. So eventually her and her husband came and sat at my desk when they were in town and we had a 4-hour conversation. And the truth came out to where she said that I don't feel like I'm worthy or I deserve a higher position in Q. Like I don't deserve to be platinum because I'm not managing my money well. That's what it all boiled down to. And so what happened is that there was a lid that was placed on her head and she wasn't busting through it because she knew that she wasn't a good steward of her money. And I had to stop her and I said, no, you do deserve the money. Okay. You are good enough for all of it. All we have to do is create a plan, stick to it. And all of a sudden you're deserving of it. Right. And it was literally that conversation that changed. We put a whole entire plan in place. She committed to doing all the right things with her money. And now she just barely posted that she has over $120,000 of savings in the bank. She's got retirement, all the plans set up, but she busted through to platinum. She's consistent in her income. She's like, it is so easy to recruit now. And I call it you get to the point where you reek of confidence. Okay. You get to the point where you don't have to use flash or fluff anymore to recruit. You can recruit solely off of confidence and posture, okay, and value instead of all the flash. Does that make sense? Like how many of us are just like grasping at straws, like trying so hard to recruit? And it's like, dude, you got to get all of your life in order and then recruits will just fall into your lap. It happens every time, right? So I want you to think about that. Think about your confidence level. And if it's hindering you from recruiting, then let us help you build that confidence so we can break down the change, the boundaries, the barriers, the monkey off the back, whatever it is, to where you have the confidence to go out there and recruit. It's amazing how finances will stop us from seeing our full potential. Okay, so build your confidence. And by building confidence and learning about money, you'll actually gather talking points and recruiting becomes a lot more fun. And remember this, that people are attracted more to value as opposed to flash. Flash, okay, when we promote it and recruit in that way, it gets people maybe for the short term. But when you can start talking about things of value, okay, like paying off debt and savings and retirement and doing smart things with your money and things like that, you will recruit people for the long term. Okay, and deep down, okay, that's what people are looking for. I think more than ever, they're sick and tired of the fake it till you make it, you know, flash this, fancy cars, fancy watches, yachts, you know, all that kind of stuff that network marketing promotes, and they just want it to be real. And the reason why we are exploding right now, while we've doubled every year, and why we probably will quadruple this year as a company, is because of the value and the culture that we've created around money. People feel safe, they feel secure, they feel like we're not just like, you know, giving you all this money and then having them spend it. We're actually smart with it and people are attracted to it. All right. So next thing, as you guys recruit, our language has changed, our confidence has changed. It comes down to a presentation. I know that all of us want to get so excited in a presentation to talk about the FFM bonus money. We have all these ways that we get paid, right? And we want to talk about the FFM bonus and how huge it is. And maybe you guys have a testimonial of having money get sent to a debt or savings plan of your choice. And that's really cool. But the stories that really have an impact on people are those people who have actually hardly made any money in Q, but we've taken them from total debt crisis to paying everything off just without any Q money. You know, I have a client that literally we got her out of over $20,000 of debt. Her credit score went from like the high 500s to over 750 or 60. She has a 3-month emergency savings plan, all just because we created awareness, we created new habits, we gave her a plan on how to pay off debt, and she really didn't make any money in Q. Isn't that crazy to think about? That story will recruit anybody because deep down, that's what everybody wants. Yeah, the extra money and the bonus money is great. It's just an extra. Okay. So learn how to present it with stories the right way. You know, start gathering your own stories that you can talk about. Like, for example, Tara Truax, she's very open with her story, over $100,000 in debt. And now look what she's created for her family. I mean, that's a really cool story to be able to tell. But what story are you creating for yourself that you can tell to everybody to recruit? Okay, think about that for a minute. In the presentation, like I said, also, you have to talk about financial disease just as much as you talk about health problems, right? Because the stress that finances place on us will create just as much illness sometimes as other ailments that we have. And so it's amazing how all of a sudden people have life, they have energy again when we start lifting that stress and getting rid of the baggage of debt. Or let's talk about this. Some of you guys come into Q, you have no debt. You're actually doing pretty well. But what about, like, I've had people have, here's a client story for you. I had a lady that had a couple $1 million saved up, but she was deathly afraid of not having enough for retirement because she watched her parents not be able to have a good retirement because they didn't save enough. So everybody, I think, has a fear somewhere of money, and there's always a way that we can improve their situation. Okay. All right. The next thing, you've done a good presentation. You've signed people up. It's ready for the launch. Okay. I'm going to tell you another story about a client of mine. This client had never done network marketing before. How many of you guys are new to network marketing? Yes. Okay, so she came in and I started coaching her and bringing her through the program. And we actually talked quite often. This was a client that it was like every single month we would talk, right? And she learned the trick that, oh my gosh, if I launch people and if all I ever do is just have people get launched and do all those things, but if I make sure that they talk to the FFM team, it's like a whole nother launch for them, right? They go over their why, they go over their goals, they put a plan in place. It's amazing. So this girl figured it out. So every time she signed up a personal, and it was like every day, multiple texts and messages a day. Sarah, I want you to meet so-and-so. She just started with Q. She's ready to set up her first financial coaching call. And I'm like, this girl is awesome. And I started getting all these messages and I figured out what she was doing. She learned that this is how she was going to build out to silver. And I truly believe that she built herself out to silver in a really fast pace because she utilized FFM to help her build it out. It's crazy because our coaches, you guys, we've all had network marketing experience. Yeah, we know finances, but we can relate to you, right? We're another sounding board for you. So I truly believe that if you really hammer it down in your launch process and encourage people to reach out, you create the culture and the mindset from day one, and it just further solidifies everything. And I guarantee you'll build out quicker by having that be a part of your launch and encouraging people to call in. Okay. All right. The last thing I want to tell you is that people are watching. They watch you in your neighborhoods. They watch you, at your kids' sports activities, at school. They watch you on social media. They notice things, okay? And when you can carry yourself with a lot of confidence and posture, like I said, people are attracted to you. So when you're holding your head up high and you feel confident about whatever it is, okay, and you feel good about yourself, people are attracted to you like a magnet. And so I want you guys to experience it and have that air about you where, like I said, you reek of confidence. So when people watch you and they notice you and you're smiling and you seem like you just have things put together, they want to know what's different. What do they have that I don't have, right? And so as you go about your day and as you talk and as you post on social media, I want it to be all about value. I want it to be about the culture that we've created, like things to brag about, not all the flash that can sometimes inundate all of these network marketing companies. Like I love what you guys are doing with the core value, the 5 F's that we have and things like that. So I would keep doing that, but also as you guys create your testimony through FFM, I hope that you guys are able to share that story somehow. I had a client screenshot me the other day, her account. This is a cool story. Do you guys like all my stories? She's like, oh my gosh, look at my savings account. And she screenshot it. It was like $11,000. And she's like, this is about 2 years of FFM money. So when she very first started, yes, she had a lot of debt, but she's like, you know what? I just want to save all of my FFM money. And so what we did is we opened up an account for her and we just started dumping all of her FFM money into a savings account. And with interest, it's grown to almost over $11,000 in just a couple of short years. And that's something to be proud of. Like, where can you go? What company can you go to and say, oh yeah, my company has $11,000 for me sitting in an account that they saved, right? That's really cool. So hopefully the air about you guys can change as you experience FFM. We have some really cool things coming, obviously, at the convention. We'll have a meet and greet booth. We're going to obviously have some really amazing training. But I hope that you guys can all experience this. Never, ever, ever be afraid to reach out. And here's why. I'm going to tell you why. We are not financial advisors. Okay. We're financial coaches, and there's a big difference between a coach and an advisor. Okay. You guys can probably already get where I'm going with this. An advisor will advise you on where to save your money, and that's it. A financial coach has actually already been through crap. Okay. A good coach, whether it's an athletic coach, whether it's any type of a coach, they have been through the trenches and they've come out on top. And that's why they're a coach, right? I would be lying to you if I said that me and Jake never hit rock bottom in our finances. Okay. Let me just go back to 2008. Yeah. It pretty much was a year of it sucked, right? And it didn't matter how put together financially we were. There were things out of our control that hit, obviously the real estate market crashing, stock markets crashing, all that kind of stuff, that to where we had to really hit rock bottom and wake up and even get that much better with our finances. So I know that you guys get scared to reach out, but we've been through it. Okay. I've been talking to people about their finances since 2003, and a good coach knows exactly what you're going through because they've been through it. Adrian's been through it. Shani's been through it. I'm about ready to get another coach because we're going to quadruple and I'm going to need the help. I promise you, they will have been through it too, and they'll be able to relate. Okay. So I know that we kind of went a little bit maybe over time. Brittany, I'm going to pass it back to you unless I forgot to say anything you can tell me, but thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of your guys' night.
We did not go overboard. Oh my gosh, that was amazing. One of my favorite, I always say this all the time, I have a lot of favorite things about this company, but I love the leadership of this company. I love the heart of this company, that it's not about the flash. I think a lot of us have maybe come from a company that was about flash and did encourage car programs and expensive purses and living outside of your means. I fell trapped to that. I have that car in my driveway. I have that purse down there that is so not me, but I felt encouraged to do that. And here they're like, no fluff. Jake will say, and Sarah, you'll say this too. What's impressive to me is when you have 6 figures in your bank account, then we can talk. That's impressive, and it's true. And so I just love that I have this coaching and this wisdom that they even care to pour into us. So you guys, I hope you've learned how to recruit with FFM. I hope that you genuinely set up an appointment, but not just a one-time appointment, that just like Sarah said, that you create a plan and you stick to it, because their heart is that whether you come in or out of queue, that you leave better than you came. So Sarah, thank you so much. That was incredible. So amazing.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
I will have this up on my YouTube so that you guys can go back to it, but I so appreciate you, Sarah. Good night, you guys.
Good night.